Hey everyone, it's your girl, Julian Greystoke. I was feeling cute today, so I figured I might film some videos. Because why not? It's overcast outside and I usually use a combination of my window on one side and my light on the other side to fully light my face as best I can. Because of the setup of this room, it's not perfect, but we're gonna make do. Can I just, these boots that I'm wearing today, just take in the boot. It's great. Today I thought I'd do a video, put all of the writing that I have done into one video so everybody knows what's up with that. Someone mentioned that they miss that I haven't been doing enough writing videos lately. That's mostly because I'm running out of ideas and my actual personal writing is kind of in a holding pattern right now, so there's not really anything new to report. But I don't think I've ever really collected all of what I'm doing and told you all about what I'm doing in a single video, and if I did, it was a while ago, so there's probably updates. So why don't we just talk about it and go from there? So you guys have probably heard me talk about, at least mention, Phoenix, which is my self-published novella. It is a zombie book, and if you want a copy, it's available on Amazon for your Kindle or in paperback. Phoenix was published in 2009, but I wrote it obviously before that and had been working on it for a while. It is the story of Deidre Fleming, who is a teenage girl in the zombie apocalypse. She ends up teaming up with her ex-best friend Andy and a goth boy from school named Moth, and they wind up together with a large group of teenagers who are also dealing with the zombie apocalypse. There's a reason that they're all teens and below. It's in the book. Read about it. And basically it's a character story of a girl in a disaster situation who has to come into her own. If that interests you, you can check it out. I think you can even read a sample. I think I have it set up so you can read a sample for your Kindle if you're interested. I haven't self-published anything since, really, because I've realized that I am not good at promoting myself at all. And you really need to be very prolific, A, and B, very good at promoting yourself. And while I write a lot and I write a lot of books, I don't like to edit them with anything approaching haste. So self-publishing probably isn't going to work out for me, which is why I'm trying to be sort of a hybrid author. After Phoenix, I believe after Phoenix is when I wrote Diary of a Demon, which is a book that is on hold, possibly permanently. It went through the beta process and I wasn't very happy with it after I got my beta feedback. I think it needs something. There's something going on with it that's not working and I don't know what that is. So it's on the back burner. It may come back someday, it may not. I think a problem that I am having with it potentially is that the main character starts out very unlikable. He grows, he does grow, but I'm having trouble engaging my readers in the beginning because he is intentionally not a good person. That's the point of the story, but at the same time, if your main character is not a good person, TM, you have to have a reason for people to remain hooked on your story and to get reading, and I don't know if I really have that. If anyone wants to read it, wants to give their thoughts on it, let me know, I guess. It's the story of a teenage boy named Anders who dies in the first chapter and goes to hell, where he learns that his father had promised Anders' soul to the devil in exchange for saving Anders' mother's life. Now you can imagine it's a deal with the devil how that worked out. But now Anders has died and he is in hell and he encounters the devil, a very different devil from the one you're used to seeing. There's no horns, there's no hooves, none of that. And the devil says, you can become a demon and work for me. And Anders agrees to this until some divine intervention gets in there and saves him from that, but not from turning into a demon physically. So basically it is the story of Anders in the form of a demon who still has his human soul, struggling to free himself from the hellscape that he lives in now, trying to get back to his old body, trying to succeed in erasing his name from the ledger of souls that the devil keeps. It's a whole thing, and I love the premise, and I hope to do something with it someday, but I'm not sure that it's there. What did I write? What did I write after that? And that's when I wrote Boots, which is a book that I have querying right now. Boots is a retelling of Puss in Boots that really takes the story in a very different direction. For example, the cat neither speaks nor wears boots. His name is Boots. We do get some of the story from the cat's point of view, but things happen within the story more with the human characters, that being Levi, the miller's son, and Joanna, the princess. If you remember in the original Puss in Boots story, the miller's son and the princess don't even get names. So I was very intrigued to go interesting places with them. The ogre is very different. It's a whole thing. It expands hugely on the surprisingly short story of Puss in Boots. Hopefully takes in some unexpected directions and really gives the characters character. However, I have yet to be able to get an agent to agree with me on it being any good. I've been shopping it around for pretty much a year and have only gotten one request for more pages. I'm just being honest with you guys, even if this means that you think that I'm a shitty writer and, you know, I'm not, agents aren't biting because it's a terrible book. It might be, I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible book, but maybe it is. I find it far more likely that the market is oversaturated with fairy tale retellings, and I just happen to be trying to publish this book at the exactly wrong time. What does this happen? I love zombies and I love fairy tale retellings, and I write a book about zombies and a book that is a fairy tale retelling at the end of their popularity when the market is so oversaturated. This is my fate, I think. Whatever I write next is probably going to end up being that too. Then after Boots, I wrote The Game. That's a terrible name. I know, it's a working title, and I'm editing the game right now. It went through the beta phase like so long ago, but I'm editing it very, very slowly. The Game is an adult sci-fi. It is the story of Song, who is an intergalactic slave, and she gets taken into what is essentially a gladiatorial arena in space, where she has to fight to survive and try to keep her head down with this eclectic team of both other humans and aliens. Song starts out in a place where she is very, very indoctrinated as an intergalactic slave, and she has to break away from that. She has to try not only to survive, but to potentially find her freedom, and she has to figure out what that freedom even is for her. It's a character-driven story, but it has lots of action. My stories are all very character-driven, but that doesn't mean that they are without action. So I'm really hopeful that once I finally finish getting this damn thing edited, that I can also begin shopping it to agents and maybe get some bites there. It's sort of like, if nobody wants Boots, maybe somebody will want The Game, and if nobody wants The Game, then maybe somebody will want the next thing I write. That's kind of my mentality. It's like, being a writer is so much a part of like my core, who I want to be, what I want to do with my life, that I will probably just never stop. Like, this dream will not die. Hope is the thing with feathers. Anyway, after I wrote The Game, then I wrote, primarily during NaNoWriMo, just to prove that I could do a NaNoWriMo if I felt like it, I wrote The Last Mage Killer, which is a YA fantasy story about a girl named Fiona who lives in a world where magic has become corrupted, and everyone who has the ability to use magic is evil and wants to destroy everyone else who cannot use magic. Fiona was born immune to magic, which is a very rare condition, and she is the last one. So she becomes the Mage Killer, a title that she doesn't necessarily want, and she is sent to a school where she begins to train in their military, which are people that ride around on wyverns. It makes sense in the story, trust me. There's a whole world building thing that goes along with it. And world building really brings me around to something I was trying to do with The Last Mage Killer, which is a lot more world building than I necessarily always do. I struggle with world building. It's just not the most important thing to me in my stories, because characters are, but I know that world building is important and I do need to get better at it, so I really was trying to do a lot more world building with The Last Mage Killer, but I wrote it kind of fast, like I said, and I wrote it during Nano, and so it's really, I'm not super happy with it, especially the ending. The ending feels very straightforward to me, and I feel like I'm supposed to have some kind of like twist or something there, and it doesn't have one, really. Like, there are unexpected things that happen, but there's no big, like, last minute, oh, twist at all. My books tend to not have those, but this one feels especially straightforward, and so I don't really know what to do with it. It's sitting on the back burner right now. I haven't edited it the first time to go out to betas. I really do want to get it out to betas because I think they will be able to help me figure out what's wrong with it, but at the same time I'm worried that betas will not want to finish it because there are so many things wrong with it. So it's kind of a catch-22. I'm like, I want betas to read it, but they need to understand that it's super imperfect right now. Sometimes I find that I think beta readers are looking for a book that's a lot more perfect than what they get, and that might be why some of them do quit because they're frustrated. But anyway, that is where The Last Mage Killer is sitting. It is just waiting for me to finish editing the game so I can go back and then look at it and see how it is looking. And I've written several short stories and like a novelette in there called The Gun Horse, which is about a horse during the zombie apocalypse. It's on Wattpad. Go read it. I like it. It was fun to write. I kind of wrote it in like a fever of zombie obsession. If you want to read a story of animals during a zombie apocalypse, go check out The Gun Horse. The horse doesn't die. So, and neither does the dog. The horse and the dog, they don't die. So if you are sensitive about that. Something that I'm trying to work on and still failing at, I have such a hard time with it, is keeping my beginnings super engaging. Because some people have said that my beginnings are too slow and too busy trying to introduce you to the characters when I should be introducing the characters through action more. Like, people are wishing that they got to know my characters through that. I like to set up the characters and the world they're in before I destroy it, but I think maybe I take too long to do the destroying. But I do want to figure out how to do it in a more interesting way that keeps the readers wanting more. The next question is, what am I planning to write next? Who knows? I have so many things I need to edit. I'm never not writing. That's just the thing. Like, even if I'm editing 3 books, I'm still writing a new one. I don't know what that new one is going to be, but I always have new ideas, so I'm never super worried that I won't be able to come up with something else. You know, in my ideal world, I would write it and then someone else would edit it for me, and like I could have final say on the changes, but I'd be like, yep, good call. You did that for me, and I just write first drafts all the time. I know, there is no world in which that exists, but that is my ideal. I am thinking about writing another book-length fan fiction, so brace for that. It would be another Dragon Age Inquisition one, especially now that we may never get a proper, true BioWare-esque ending to Dragon Age. Makes me nervous, but I want to do one involving all of the characters from The New Ways of Old Gods, my previous book-length Dragon Age fanfiction. Check out my AO3 and find that. I'm still pretty proud of it, so. But I want to take those characters and take them to a whole new dimension, literally, and make them struggle with that, so evil plans are afoot. Anyway, that's what I've been writing. That's all of my writing in one place and my plans for it. I hope this was interesting to some of you guys. I'm sorry I haven't gotten many writing things out recently. If you have anything that you would like to see, comment below and let me know. Keep in mind that the reason I haven't done videos on certain things, like, say, world building, is because I'm bad at it, and I don't want to give people bad advice. That said, it might be interesting to do a video from the point of view of someone who is bad at it, and like, let's talk, because knowing what I'm supposed to do for world building and actually doing it are 2 different creatures, as most of us know. This was super rambly. I didn't write anything down. I apologize if this was boring, but I hope that some of you at least were entertained, at least slightly. If you liked this for some reason and want to see similar things, I have a lot of videos on this channel right there for your binging pleasure, so go check all of those out. If you liked what you saw here and want to help me out and support it, I have a Patreon for that, where not only do you help me save up for better equipment, but also you get exclusive content that is not seen on this regular channel, including bookshelf tours, chatty videos with me, mini read-alongs of various things, all kinds of stuff going on over there. All the links to my social media are in the doobly-doo for ease of your clicking, and I will see you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye! Alright everyone, it's that time again. It's time to thank my illustrious patrons of the month: Lennox, Amanda, Thelia, Jenny, Joseph, Kim, Lisa, Sabby Panda, Sam, and Sarah. Thank you all so much for your support. It means the world to me.